Oh, okay. You made it. So what's going on? People are not coming in. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Faculty already here. Great.
Yeah, Prof.
Yes. How are you?
Very well.
Good afternoon. Yes. Okay. We still have about 4 minutes. And what is going on today, Arinze?
Yeah. The work basically, we've been working around a lot of data extractions and all.
Yeah.
And,
so we're actually recording this, unless if you are not saying anything very proprietary, but this is recorded in case people can watch it later. But
and it is live already.
Yes, actually live. Most people connect through YouTube Live.
Oh, okay. Sir.
Yeah, most people. So we essentially make it for people that don't come to Zoom to connect through YouTube Live. So.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes. So let's just give extra 4 minutes, then we will start. Today is Wednesday. It's 2 p.m. Yeah. Let's see. Wow. So once we finish, we can now discuss the other matters for the business.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Ariz, are you there? Yeah, it's okay.
Very much, sir.
Okay, just trying to check whether our network, I hope you will be sure that the link is working. Yeah, the link is working. Okay, yeah, I can see. The thing is that this edition, they have not taken this course already. I think they may just figure, yeah, so it's the other one, if taking it, that is the edition 2. So, but I just think that you can actually come to speak, even though the course has not been taken. I think they will take your course in the next 2 weeks or so. It's okay.
Yeah, no problem, Prof.
So we'll start and record it.
Oh, Professor, this is edition 3.
No, this is the edition 3.
Yes, edition 3, yes.
Yeah, they have not taken this course.
Yes.
Yes, so that's why most of them, they would like to take the course, then they will come and listen to this recording. But that's no problem with that. They will take this course on October 26th. That's when it's scheduled, October 26th. I think what will happen is maybe next week, let me even check. Oh, no, voila, we'll see. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes, then we'll start. They can watch the recording and they can also, yeah, so there's no issue.
Okay.
Man, a lot of good things are happening in Ghana, guys. I just hope that our Nigerian entrepreneurs are paying attention. There are a lot of grant money, MasterCard, all the good money, they're sending it to Ghana. I mean, just curious to know, maybe as we discuss fintech today, I just want to know why it seems that Nigeria is not capturing a lot of that.
Okay, Prof. Maybe I should share my screen as well.
Yes, I think yes. In the next 1 minute, you can start actually.
Rogers is here.
Oh, okay, Rogers is also here. Rogers, welcome.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, welcome. And yeah, so this is recorded. We're actually supposed to have hundreds here, but most times they connect through YouTube Live, and also most of them just, since we record everything. We did an experiment was it 2 days ago? We decided not to do that. Everyone showed up, but well, it's no issue. Okay, go ahead, and thank you so much. So, let me make you a co-host to make it easier. So you are a co-host now.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Okay, you can start. Just 20 minutes for the review, then we're going to question and answer. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Again, thank you so much, Prof, for having me here. I'm really very excited today that I'll be sharing an overview of fintech. My name is Eze Samuel Chukwunoso, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of PASS. What comes to mind basically when you hear about fintech? Fintech basically is a combination of finance and technology to form the word fintech. So today we'll be talking about fintech, opportunities of the future, and driver of economic prosperity. Do you know that we actually have 2/3 of Africa's adult population that is unbanked, and Africa's fintech market grew by over 60% in the last 2 years, raising about $0.4 billion in venture capital. This is a huge market, and a lot of things are happening over here in Africa. We've seen a lot of funds, a lot of raisings across fintech products, both here in Nigeria, in West Africa, East Africa, and as well other parts of Africa. Africa's fintech market overview. I'm sure we also do want to understand how the market is segmented. Because yeah, sure, fintech is segmented across several, on the value chain, there are a lot of things around it. We'll talk about mobile money, we'll talk about online payment processing, lending, and investing. But then today, I will be talking about the overview of the fintech market with major 2 case studies. Case study 1, we'll be talking about MTN and Vodacom backed Safaricom having disrupted the way payment is processed in East Africa, with Kenya having a financial inclusion of about 87% from about 25% a decade ago. Case study 2, we're talking about Flutterwave. When you're talking about fintech over here in West Africa, one major company startup that comes, they still call themselves a startup, but then that comes to mind is Flutterwave, the Nigerian headquartered payment API that struck a deal with Alipay, which did open doors for African merchants to 1 billion users. Africans' fintech is being enabled by mobile telecommunications. As mobile network penetration keep growing and mobile phone users grow, we expect the market value to grow to over $144 billion in the next decade. And the regional distribution of alternative fintech cuts across East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, Central Africa, and North Africa. There are major challenges that are being faced. Basically, finances are a major stimulus for economic growth. Other than unemployment and underemployment and poor infrastructure, we have limited access to credit facilities, or financial solutions remains one of Africa's biggest problems. There is a need for fintechs that can disrupt the traditional market and bring lasting solutions to consumers facing some of the challenges, and not limited to the following. 1, we talk about limited interoperability, translating to delayed payment processing, poor user experiences, immobility of banking institutions, limited access to credit, banks not able to operate 24/7 or downtime, limited payment processing alternatives, regulations, restrictions on moving money. Over the years, we've seen a lot of interest in Africa when it comes to funding. And here I'll be mentioning about 6 of the startups that are known over here in Africa, the likes of InterSwitch, having been invested in by Visa, about $200 million. We talk about Flutterwave, that received $20 million from MasterCard in October 2018. Paystack, that actually did raise about $8 million from Visa and Stripe in August 2018. OPay, having been invested in by Opera, JumiaPay, MasterCard, Tala, PayPal. So with the 1.3 billion growing population and 3/5 of the population under 25, Africa is definitely the future market. The interest is backed by an exponential return on investment. Hence the reason why we see a lot of interest, both across funding in Africa and in startups here that are resident in Africa or headquartered in Africa. The prospects are actually huge. The African financial sector is accelerating, and the market should grow by 350 million users in the next 10 years. Interoperability of systems across banking, telecom, and internet opening doors to better user experience. With more internet penetration, we expect the phone giants to play a deeper role in the fintech market, with investments increasing by tens to hundreds of current value, development of blockchain and distributed ledger tech. At a time like this, we can't really talk about fintech without also talking about commerce. Now, over the years, within the pandemic period, we've seen the likes of Paystack come up with Paystack Commerce. We've also seen Flutterwave as well come up with their own store as well. But then where are all of this headed to if we don't talk about commerce? We've seen a lot of businesses that run offline actually come online. Basically, they run an offline store, and as well, they're all creating an online presence. And that brings us to pass, because while a lot of businesses are actually shifting towards online, you find out there are certain issues that keeps popping up as regards this, of which number one happens to be issues of the long entry forms. Now, when you look at the long entry forms while trying to make a simple payment online, you find yourself having to impute your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email address, your shipping address, as well as your debit card details while trying to make a simple payment. Now, imagine where you have to do this over and over and over again across several tabs on your, either on your smartphone, your mobile phone, or on your laptop. This is a huge problem. And also, since the existence of the web, since about 31 plus years since the invention of the web, www, you find out that on platforms, basically there's literally no platform you go to that doesn't have the forget password button, where you have to impute, probably click on when you've forgotten your passwords and all of those. That's a huge problem, where we tend to store our data on Google, give our data to Facebook, because we don't want to forget our password, because we want our passwords to be safe. Why should we have to give our information out for people to have access to it? That doesn't really work for a lot of people. Now, while talking about consumers, you can't actually talk about consumers without mentioning businesses. Because consumers, the internet connected consumers, being about a bit above 50% of the global population, which is about 3.8 billion internet connected consumers in the world. These guys, each and every one of these 3.8 billion people, actually access the web to get stuff on a daily basis. And now are we to subject them to this problem, where they have to purchase items, imputing their details over and over and over again across the web? That is a huge problem. Like I did mention, when the likes of Flutterwave and Paystack and others that recently did launch their e-commerce platforms for small businesses, we looked at all of this and we were scared, yeah, to an extent that, man, will these platforms actually fail, or are they really addressing one main underlying issue? Yes, we're happy they're actually winning. But then over the years, we've seen a dramatic rise in digital commerce. Like I did say, consumers are increasingly wanting to buy online, but then there is still a huge major gap between the percentage of consumers who search for these items online and the percentage of consumers who actually buy. Consumers have actually have a real concern when it comes to buying online. Concerns about buying across borders, transacting on mobile devices, making high price purchases, and buying from unfamiliar merchants. If we can't solve this problem, or these concerns, then it means the gap is still very, very large. It means we are yet to really scratch the surface. A lot of consumers have concerns stemmed from lack of trust when buying online, and this is particularly harmful to small businesses. Lack of trust when buying online is a global issue. It is not just a Nigerian e-commerce problem or social commerce problem. It is actually a global issue. So today, I would buttress more on that. I'll be taking a case study from PayPal. PayPal, or rather, according to a recent IPSOS study of people across the US, UK, Germany, Australia, Italy, Spain, and Brazil, consumers are 54% more willing to buy when a business accepts PayPal, especially in an unfamiliar situation. And 59% of users have actually abandoned a transaction because PayPal was not there. PayPal accepted on a site, or being accepted on a site, can actually increase consumer willingness to buy. Higher uplift in challenging scenarios. For example, mobile, cross-border, high ticket, and unfamiliar brand. PayPal brand halo effect also occurs among non-PayPal users, most notably for less familiar brands. Right now, I'll be pushing our direction towards consumer willingness to buy uplift for PayPal being present versus when, take for instance, PayPal is not present for all markets, basically. We will be talking about willingness to buy among users of PayPal and willingness to buy among the non-users of PayPal. For an unfamiliar brand, we find out that when PayPal is actually not present, this is just a simulated scenario, we find about 24% buying rate for unfamiliar brands. But then when PayPal is present, we see about 52% rate of buying. Then for cross-border purchase, we find out that we found that 62% of people buy when PayPal is present. But then in the absence of PayPal, 35%. While making a purchase for an item that is worth from $200 and above, we see about 61% of purchase when PayPal is present. But in the absence, we find about 34%. So this goes all. This is literally continuous. Like it's just there. So basically, consumers actually have an issue when it comes to trust. So we have seen all of this problem at PASS, and hence the reason why we decided to solve this problem. Now, like I did say, over 75% of shopping carts are abandoned at checkout in a $3.5 trillion e-commerce and retail market annually, due to largely long filled forms, forgotten passwords, and an average of about 12 to 18 clicks to make just a simple payment. Today, we are building PASS, and PASS is the fastest one-click login and checkout for e-commerce and digital platforms. To help put into perspective, PASS is fixing the way you and I login, fill long entry form, pays for every single internet connected consumer in the world. Like I did say earlier, the internet connected consumers in the world are about 3.8 billion in the world. In Africa, we have about 526 million internet connected consumers. And in Nigeria, we have about 116 million internet connected consumers, which means that when you sign up on Pass, having imputed your personal details, which includes your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email address, your shipping address, as well as your payment information, these details are encrypted. The device becomes one-click checkout enabled. Now, above all of this, these details are tokenized, which brings about security for your data, your information. We don't actually have access to these information because when we tokenize all of this, we tend to secure your information basically. So it means when you go on any platform that has Pass integrated, be it an e-commerce platform or via social commerce, provided that whenever you want to make a payment, you definitely will access the web. You will make a payment in a single click. I can tell you for a fact that this is the first of its kind in Africa, and we're here for all consumers. A lot of payment processors like Paystack, Flutterwave, and others are more particular about helping businesses to accept payments. But we are here for every single internet connected consumer. That is everybody that owns a smartphone, to help each and every one of you purchase an item seamlessly in a single click. We no longer want you to pass through those issues of having to think about your passwords, having to input your details over and over and over again across the web or multiple platforms. Security-wise, is actually not proper and it is not safe. That is why we're building Pass. So being the leading solution in Africa, we're optimistic that the prospects are endless, and we'll keep on helping to make seamless payments in a single click for every single internet connected consumer. And we are definitely happy to hear from you as to the things that matters most to you that you would want to have a click across on. Take, for instance, maybe aside making a simple payment, maybe there are other things you would want us to recreate our Pass one click across. We're happy to do that. Our website remains accessing us. To access us, you can access us via ourpass.co, which is OURPASS.co. We are looking out for direct to consumer partners, vendors, those who sell, who have e-commerce platforms, have a website, and you sell via social commerce, either on Twitter, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook. We're happy to jump on a call with you and tell you how we can help you convert more sales. Our goal is to help
so
consumers.
I think it's time here. Pass. Thank you so much, Sam, for visiting us at Tekedia Live. We truly appreciate it. And to our members, I must apologize that we are bringing this faculty well ahead of the course. I think our FinTech week is scheduled October 25th or thereabouts. But there is a reason why I have actually invited him, just like we have been inviting some other faculty, even when their courses have not been taken. I want us to have this construct that it is not only a faculty that we can welcome here. So thank you so much, Sam, and thank you, Rogers, for coming to share what you people are building. And the reason here is that in our program, we have sector innovation cases. We also have technology innovation cases. If we go through this mini MBA program and all that we have learned and all that we have studied, we're just focusing on books. We may not really have deepen and broaden our perspective. So when we have all these young companies that are coming to bring in the postulations that we have had in the classroom here into reality, many of us will now begin to appreciate. So the other day we look at telehealth, how Lafayette Health is changing the ordinance in that space. So here also looking at fintech. We've also looked at cybersecurity, seeing companies that are playing in this space. We'll be looking at all these companies like Food Locker, e-commerce, to show that these things are possible. So when we see, we can now imagine in our companies, in whatever we're doing, how we can actually elevate our game so that we can drive competitiveness, put efficiency in the utilization of our ducts production, and we can find value. So thank you so much, Pass. So what will happen here is I'll hand over to Arinze to coordinate the question and answer session. Arinze, are you still on the, are you ready? Are you available? Okay, it seems that Arinze is not here. And so what will happen here? Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm unable to do that, sir.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's like you have a background noise there. So I will just hold it until when you're free. Okay. So I have a question here. Actually, it's from live from the channels here where we are syncing this. Okay, somebody is asking how much does he have to pay Pass in order to create an account in your platform? Since you are saying that what somebody creates this profile and Pass, the person can now go to your partner platforms to now possibly make payments without the necessity of signing up or opening up putting a new entry. So how much do you charge for people to come to your website and set up that kind of account?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Prof, and thank you for your time. So just to be sure I got the question really clear, I believe you're asking what the cost is like for a user to sign up. Do you mean
Yes.
a user or a vendor?
I think a user here, I think this person is a user. It's just like a user.
Yeah, so like I did say earlier, we're building paths for every single internet connected consumer, provided you have a smartphone. You can access Pass and it is totally free of charge. You can check the chat bot I just sent in our website, being ourpass.co. You can click on it and get to our platform and you sign up. It is totally free of charge. What happens basically is you sign up and your device is one-click checkout enabled. And by the end of the year, of this month rather, we would be rolling out the transactions for every single internet connected consumer to start purchasing an item from their favorite vendor. And more importantly, I'm really very excited to inform each and every one of you present here today that at Pass we're offering 2,000 Naira to registered users, those who sign up between, we started last month till the end of this month. And we're picking 200 people randomly from those who signed up between last month and the end of this month. So you can rush now to our pass.co. It is super safe and secured to sign up, free of charge.
Okay. So do we have more questions there? I think that's very clear. So somebody's asking here, question 2, how wide is the coverage of Pass? If I sign up, what is the assurance I can use it to buy stocks? I think that's what I'm reading the second question here, but you could answer it, then we get to the first one.
All right, thank you. So yeah, so you're saying how wide is the coverage of Pass? If I sign up, what's the assurance I can use it to buy stocks? So Fagade Gabriel, I can tell you for a fact that at the moment, Pass is only operational in Nigeria. In the next couple of months, we'll be expanding to other African markets, and in the future, across the world. So the assurance as regards buying stuffs, provided you sign up on Pass and your device is one-click checkout enabled, it means that while signing up, when you get to the end of the sign up, you will find a button that says, take for instance, win 2,000 Naira voucher. When you click on that, we actually do request that you share your favorite vendor's details. Once you do that, we have those informations. And by the end of the month, we will be reaching out to say, hey, you can now start buying items using Pass in a single click. And I can tell you for a fact that you can buy. So the assurance is there, definitely.
Okay.
So there's an assurance, basically, yeah.
Okay. Also, look at the first question. How can we catch up? So the reason why I'm reading this is because there are many people on the YouTube Live, Facebook, and LinkedIn that they can't see this, just like all of us here. So we have to read it out. So how can we catch up on the opportunity that FinTech brings as business champions? I think this one is not specifically with Pass. It's just basically asking, how can you catch up with the opportunity that FinTech brings? So maybe there are value chains in the FinTech space you think people can participate, just for you to know. Yeah, go ahead, faculty.
Yeah, so as regards that, firstly, I need to also explain, define FinTech once again. So the term FinTech is or rather, trying to understand FinTech broadly, the term financial technology can apply to any innovation in how people transact businesses, from the invention of digital money to double entry bookkeeping. So the value chain is really wild, and it depends on what you intend on solving. So you can easily solve whatever you need to solve, or whatever problem you're seeing across FinTech, because the problems are still wild. We've not really solved the problem. I believe as much as there's been a lot of buzz across around FinTech in Africa, we've really not scratched the surface. So catching up on the opportunities, or rather, like you did say, how can you catch up on the opportunities that FinTech brings as business champions? It depends, and it's relative across businesses. So take, for instance, you own an e-commerce platform, or you sell via social commerce. You shouldn't delay, because definitely you want to make profit, you want to make revenue, you want to really serve your customers well, and you want to make their journey while purchasing an item seamless. So in that case, you run to Pass and say, hey, Pass, please, I want to create an account on your platform so that my customers can get to buy things from me. So except if, basically that. I don't know if I actually did answer your question correctly.
Yeah, okay. Of course, as you say, there are just many things. There's a report from MasterCard Foundation with a top university in the world, where they stated that about 301 billion consumer transactions in Nigeria, which happen essentially every year, $301 billion, only 3% are done electronically. So the implication of that is that 97% of all transactions are still done offline. I mean, that report was, I think it's about 2-3 years now. So if we account for maybe that things are moving a little bit faster, maybe the boss, we can say 7-8% electronically now. Because I know that in most rural communities across Nigeria, people are still using cash. And even if you want to force electronic payment on people, the digital literacy and there is construct, that literacy rate is very low. There is still a ceiling that people have to overcome. Just as, for example, in Yobe State, as of 2 years ago, the literacy rate was 7.2%. In other words, out of 100 people, only 8 people can read and write in Yobe. So what kind of FinTech can you do in that space when about 92 people out of 100 cannot read and write? So it means that transactions are actually most likely going to be done in cash than actually electronically. I mean, just Sam, just trying to also draw, when we're talking about this FinTech, there are just so many names. So can somebody digitize that cash? How can you do it for people that are not literate? You go to rural communities like in my village, I don't think most men there will even believe you. You're sending them something through the phone instead of giving them money they can hold in the market. Yeah, so there are just opportunities in that space, but you just want to sit down and see how he or she can find value in that market. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah. So there's question thought here. We heard of MTN, Airtel, and the big names participating in the fintech. He said, "Ask what chance do small players have?" So I think he's taking you to you. What chance do you have, man?
So, quite funny though, but I'm really happy to hear this question because, like I always tell people, I tell friends, people that ask me questions that are quite related to this. I always tell them the market is really large, and it depends on what problem you are solving. The value chain is really, really, really long. So when you have your niche and you're really serving your customers well, trust me, what customers want is their satisfaction. Are you really solving their problem? While the world is evolving, are you innovating alongside the evolvement of the world, like trends and all? So if you're really solving their problems, trust me, your customers will keep coming back. It doesn't matter if it's a big name, MTN, Airtel, and whoever it is in the fintech. Provided you're serving your customers well, you'll keep growing as a business. But nonetheless, don't forget that in as much as you keep hearing of these big names, MTN, Airtel, amongst others, it doesn't mean you should fidget. Nothing stops you from partnering. There are a lot of things they are doing that you could actually partner with them to further hack your growth as a business. So more importantly, don't see them as competitors. Actually, you should see them as collaborators. In fact, see them as catalysts that can help expedite the growth of your business. I don't know if I've answered your question correctly.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good question. Seeing all these entities as catalysts. I think in a class, I think in our week 3, I shared a paper, one of the papers I had in Harvard, where I noted that if you come into the ICT space, at least at the global arena, Facebook, Google, you could see them as utilities, call them ICT utilities, just like the way we have electricity companies as utilities for electricity in our communities. We have water board as a water utilities entities. So when you come into a village or when you come into a town, the likelihood that your water will come from the water board where you live is nearly up to 90% than you going to get water from another locality, because that is utilities within that particular locality. So you don't really even have an option that the water board in Owerri is going to be the one that supply you water if you're living in Ikenebu. The one in Etiosa local government is the one that power you if you're living in Ikoyi in Lagos. So the question here is that, are you going to disrupt the water board? Are you going to disrupt the electricity? It makes life very difficult. So just like what our faculty is saying here, the best thing to do is to use that water board as a catalyst in order to now launch your own game playbook, because you know that they are well seeded, that there is just not much you can do to take them down. So as I noted in that paper we shared in the board, that if you want to compete against Facebook, you're wasting your time. If you want to compete against Google, you're wasting your time. But if you want to find a value within what they are doing, where you can also build a business for yourself, it means that using them as a catalyst to anchor your playbook so that you can actually thrive. That could be a way of you building a business, because going a frontal attack is certainly going to backfire, but you can find a way to work with them. So thank you so much for that. And it's a very amazing one. So somebody's asking here, usually we don't usually do that, but he's asking, how is SPAS disrupting the fintech industry? He apologized that he came late. And since the questions are not coming as fast, so maybe you could just talk about it while we're waiting for people to raise their hands and ask questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so I thank you, Prof. I can see here, he said how is SPAS disrupting the fintech industry. So yeah, so like I did say, since you just joined late, basically PASS is building the fastest one-click login and checkout for digital commerce. So just something to take note of. We've seen a lot of businesses, or rather a lot of payment processors, the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave, amongst others, like I did mention earlier, that are helping businesses to accept payments. But then for us, we've seen the emergence of small businesses and e-commerce platforms, and also businesses across social commerce. What I mean basically is businesses that that sell via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, amongst others. So what we're doing basically is to help businesses convert more sales. As much as you've seen a lot of these businesses say, yes, I take for instance, they made 2 million naira in a month. We have come to the understanding based on our research that 3 out of 4 shopping carts are actually abandoned. So it means the 2 million naira they claim to make is actually being made from the one shopping cart that wasn't abandoned. This is based on a global research and study. So hence the reason why we had to go deeper into finding out what the main cause of this, what actually is causing this. So we realized that it's as a result of on an average about 12 to 18 clicks to make a simple payment. It means when you go to a platform, for you to make a simple payment, it takes an average of about 12 to 18 clicks. In fact, for a lot of platforms that are even out, within Africa and outside, it's above 18 clicks. But on an average, we also did discover that within our own space or region over here, it takes an average of about 12 to 18 clicks. And also the long entry forms, where you need to fill your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email address, your shipping address, as well as your debit card details to make a simple payment. Imagine you're buying just one single shirt and you just probably logged into a platform and you just clicked on, you saw the shirt, you clicked on it. So why is the payment not as easy as having to click on that shirt? So that is a huge problem. So we saw that as a huge problem in a $3.5 trillion e-commerce and retail market, and we decided to help every single internet-connected consumer take away this friction of long entry forms, friction of forgotten passwords, friction of about 12 to 18 clicks, amongst others, and ultimately help businesses, both e-commerce and those businesses that run via social commerce, convert more sales. So we're not promising to reduce down to 1/4, but we're telling you that on an average, we'll take it down to 1.5.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's a very, very extensive answer there. Okay, so yeah, do we have questions, please? Do you have questions for our faculty, especially in the fintech space? That's what we're focusing today. And so noted. So somebody's asking. So Victor, don't okay, Fagade, please just go ahead. Then we'll come to Victor. Go unmute yourself and speak, Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks very much, for sharing with us tonight. So one of the things in my mind, as I think through the,
Yeah. So Gabriel, speak closer to your phone, please. No wahala, just a little bit to your phone, to your microphone.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Better.
Yeah, thanks very much for sharing with us tonight. So, one of the things in my mind as I think through, the things to share with us is about security. And I know this is a big deal for many people. We every 3 so million or billions of people want to rely on pass, for their security of their login details and stuff like that. For me, that's a big deal. So what assurance do you have about all the fact that, well, this is going to be protected? What technology do you have to assure that? And we know that many technology of security has been beaten hands down. So what can you give us as an assurance, that yes, we feel that we are strongly protected in this regard, and this is not going to go bunker down the way.
Okay. Sam, you can go ahead now. I think there's a lot of background noise to. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you for that question. So at first, we understand that we think our customers, our users to hack. We care so much about them. So hence.
Okay, Sam, unmute yourself, please. I have to unmute everyone because of that background noise. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Sorry.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So thank you so much, Gabriel, for that wonderful question. So at first, we do understand how sensitive user data and informations are. Hence the reason why security remains top of mind for us. And we can say for a fact that every user data is safe and secure. Our payment processor is PCI DSS compliant. We also leverage industry standard for encryption and security. And we do also have a team of security and privacy professionals on the team. So like I did say, we also wish to emphasize on the fact that we are leveraging on industry standards for encryption and security. We're working, I don't know if you got that, and we're also PCI DSS compliant. So we can tell you for a fact that your data, which includes personal data and debit card details, are safe and secure with us. But then we keep investing more. What we do at PASS basically is we keep investing a lot of resources into our security infrastructure because it remains top of mind, like I did say. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I think we had somebody else raising his hand. Okay, Rashid Ali, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, Rashid. Rashid, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I just want to ask. What I just want to ask is, as this pass is, can it be used with mobile payment like USSD for probably electricity bill payments, like pay as you go model, and in such. I want to know if it could be applicable in such way. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Rashid. Like you do know, at PASS we are focused at solving the checkout problem for digital commerce. So we are not there yet, leveraging USSD for a single click payment, but we do believe that if it is something to build on in the future, we would get to that.
Okay. So while we're waiting for, I think Solomon, just hold on. Somebody asked a question here. Is this technology powered by blockchain? That's from Victor. So, and your comment, please.
Yeah, so thank you, Victor. You said is the technology for PASS powered by blockchain. One thing I can tell you for sure is, first and foremost, yeah, like everyone knows, our technology is proprietary to us. But now, as regards if it's powered by blockchain, we did build by leveraging industry technology level, basically. So surely our technology is good. Let's keep it that way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think for me, whether it's blockchain or wherever, if it works, it works. So then that's really the key here. And so let's Solomon unmute yourself, please. Solomon. Honor.
Oh yes. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah, I apologize for coming in late, but I think this is one of the best area I'm so interested in. As regard my own, I'm coming from the e-commerce background, and payment has always been this a case where I want to ask Chikun also, right? I want to know, yeah, I want to know the efforts what you people have in place, like coming in, not just leaving it for an e-commerce, because most of e-commerce now I sign up to your payment option, and that's just all. So you wait for me to sell, and for my sales, then you make your own commission. So, it has been like a culture where the payment option will just be at the background and just be collecting money, you understand? But not even considering that most people that come in to make that payment transaction are looking forward to have confidence in this, just like what this in the security aspect of it. So that means I'm just saying the payment option, the role you are playing in terms of assuring customers for security about their card, that they can easily shop online, making it, open to them for them to even understand. That's their awareness. We from the sales angle, we create awareness, seeing this effort towards the payment option, payment gateways, trying to, promote their own, building confidence, like to get people to have a kind of confidence to use their to
Yeah, I think we've understood Solomon.
And
okay.
Make transaction. Unlike in Western world where everybody are just freely to use cards and make their own. So on front activities, solution, using a fraudulent means, and I being from the end of the seller and I supply. So what happened in that scenario?
Hey, yeah, Solomon, your network is very bad.
And the transaction is fraudulent, and along the am I the one who?
Yeah, so Solomon, unfortunately, we can't hear you. Your network is really very, very poor. So what you can do is to type this question, unless or maybe you can change your network. So, faculty, do you have? I think he made very good points. I don't know if you pick something that you can comment on.
Thank you so much, Solomon, if you can hear me, and thank you, Prof. I'm not sure I actually got his question clearly. The network was pretty bad.
Yes, yeah.
If you can type it, it will be very preferable and nice.
Yeah, so Solomon, help us type it, or if your network improves, and you can ask you to call again. So Stephen, Obara, go ahead, Stephen, please. Yes, Stephen, go ahead. Can you hear us, Stephen? Okay. It's like we cannot hear Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his network is very, very poor. So Stephen, you can also type, and it's really unfortunate that we still just deal with these network issues in Nigeria. I mean, it's really very, very unfortunate that's still very, very rampant this way. Yeah. So let's Stephen, we can't hear you. I think you could type. I think it would be far better if you do that, because of yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we still have some minutes here. If you have any question in the fintech space, what is happening there, and let's know. Of course, you might have been reading a lot of things, how decentralized finance. I think there are a lot of guys playing in that space, cryptocurrency, blockchain. But at the end of the day, the customer does not necessarily care what technology powers is, provided that you are delivering the right service to the customer. I do believe vividly that there is a huge opportunity in this space, because if we digitize up to 20% or 30%, many great things will happen across the value chain. So I have a question here personally. So Sam, if you look at Nigeria today, the BVN, the total BVN we have in the country is around, I think, 40 million. And in in the nation, technically, I mean, I do believe that Nigeria is actually up to 200 million people. I think using indirect data, it's believable that Nigeria is up to 200 million. And like I've said, that voter registration is roughly 85 to 88 million people. And no one has contested that voters registration is fraudulent. Because it's not fraudulent, since you use the same registry for local elections and use it for the same presidential election. So everyone believes that if you can work for the governor, if you can work for the House of Rep in the state, you can work for the senator, you should also work for the presidency. So that means we know there are about 80-something million people in that space. And then it's not everyone that participates in election. And so the implication of that, there may be up to another 40 million people above age of 18. So at the end of the day, it's very clear that Nigeria is actually up to 200 million people when you look at the youths, the young people less than 18 years that are not even that voter register. So my question is this: at the end of the day, we have only 40 million BVN. So all of you in the fintech space are largely pursuing these people that are just within that 40 million bracket. What happens to the more than 70 million other adults, others in quotes, that are not within that, those precious 40 million? Is there anything PASS can do? Is there anything PASS is thinking how you can go beyond these 40 million to actually capture the more than 70 million other adults that are not already within the banking formal sector?
Yes, so Prof, although I lost you a bit, I think I lost a bit of what you were of your question, but then I think I do understand what you're trying to ask. So as, basically, you're referring to the unbanked. I don't know if I'm correct.
Yes, referring that it's actually a bigger number compared to the 40 million you have in the BVN. I would just assume that 40 million is anyone in the BVN is banked, but anyone without a BVN is not banked. But the total number of people that are unbanked turns out to be bigger than people that are unbanked. So is there anything that PASS is actually doing in that space at the moment, or is there any playbook for you for that?
Yeah. So we have at PASS, we have actually built a playbook around that, where PASS one-click checkout is not just across the web for those who own smartphones. We're also connecting offline to online transactions. But that is also in our roadmap within the next 6 to 12 months from now, where people who don't even have a smartphone, provided they can get into somewhere to purchase an item, there's definitely going to be a point of sale. So at sale, you can actually make a simple payment without, despite being unbanked. So we're working around we're working on something around that. And in 6 to 12 months time from now, we should have that all rolled out for offline transactions.
Okay, great. Okay. So Solomon, it's like it's better now. You can unmute yourself and then go ahead, Solomon. Yeah, you can. Oh, Stephen, sorry. Stephen, you can also go ahead, Stephen.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Okay, this is Solomon.
Okay, Solomon, go ahead. This is better now.
Okay. Yes, my question is the role, the role you play to Chinonso, what is the plan you have in place in terms of awareness or, letting the user of the card know that building confidence within them so that they have this confidence of using their card to shop? Because is that how can I put my card to shop online is always the case. So, but people are seeing it as a big deal, which is not, because for those who shop online, we know that, you just shop online and the security of your card depends on you, how you use your card. But many people are seeing it as a big thing. But to simplify it to them, for them to even know, which I'm not seeing the role from the e-commerce or the only business that is using your platform, because it has been like a culture where the payment gateway is just at the behind. You know, they don't come out to even let people know. Meanwhile, they are the people that are supposed to give trust to the card users, unlike the sellers who are using your platform now to collect money. So I've not been seeing any awareness like, or do I use them promotion now? Just like trying to let people build that confidence. I don't know if you have a solution, your solution carries such.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Solomon Ona, for that feedback.
Then the second question, I don't know, can I go for the second question?
Probably I should answer. Okay, go on with the second.
Okay. Yeah, the second question now is, you know, in terms of fraudulent transaction in the sense that somebody made a transaction using a fraudulent card, and you know sometimes it triggers in a not just immediately, but me from my own end, I've already supplied the item. What happened in that situation?
Yeah, so as regards first and foremost, as regards fraudulent transactions, when you look at our sign-up page, you find out that you need to input your details, which includes your first name and last name. So the way our system is built, we're also trying as much as possible to make sure that it is matched against your name. Do you understand? That is to say, when you look at the part where you put in your debit card details, there's a column that asks for your name as well, name on the card. So try as much as possible to make sure that a few of the data are matched on your name that is being entered. Then, as regards awareness on how secure the platform is for shoppers, yeah, it's something we keep preaching on, and we keep talking about that. Our platform is actually safe and secured for users to actually put in their details, and without having to pass through any fraudulent issue in the future. But then we'll keep doing our best to keep increasing on and building more around the awareness. So thank you so much for that feedback.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Oh, this is noisy. So, Stephen, you can go ahead now, Stephen, so that we'll be rounding up. Stephen, that should be the last question. Okay, it's like you are having difficulty. Okay, so maybe.
So, Prof, there's a question here. I'm seeing a question from Obin at AGD.
Yeah, you can take that. Yeah, you can take.
Yeah, so Obina, from your question, you're saying in the eventful situation that the customer's data is compromised, leading to a loss in value, are there modalities for such user to seek a redress? Definitely. We are here to serve each and every one of you. So definitely, if there's an issue which we do not think would happen, which definitely will not happen because of how we invest resources into our infrastructure, security infrastructure, then you can always reach out to us using support at our pass.co. Our team is always readily available to respond to any issue whatsoever. So don't forget, like I did say, I am Eze Samuel Chukunonso, the CEO of Pass. You guys can actually go to our pass.co, and I'm typing it yet again here. Go to our pass.co. If you have not signed up on Pass, go to our pass.co and sign up. We'll be giving out 2,000 naira randomly to 200 people. So a voucher basically to be able to purchase from their favorite vendors. Thank you.
Okay. I think that should just do it, and we couldn't get. Okay, so Solomon have answered. Stephen, unfortunately, your network is so bad, we don't think we can take it. So I think we don't have any question here. Let me just give you a closing note, Samuel. If you have any other thing to say, and so that we can round up. And thank you so much for coming to Tekedia Live. And ladies and gentlemen, as I've noted also that this course, Fintech's week is coming, I think, 25th of October, and the CEO of Flutterwave also has prepared something for us, and these are supposed to be innovation cases across sectors, so that when we are talking about fintech, we're talking about edtech, we're also talking about health tech, we can look at companies that are actually real, trying to find opportunities in those spaces. So it makes it a little bit more relatable that we are not just discussing things in abstract form. So that's why we bring all these CEOs and startup leaders to come to have these conversations with us. So that's really the purpose. The plan here is not for anyone to sell you anything, and but it's also an opportunity for them to also tell you the excitement they have in what they are doing, so that most of us as innovators in this space, we can also go back to what we do in our companies to drive them. So thank you once again, the team from PASS. Let's have your final word, and then we will round up. Thank you.
Yeah, so at this juncture, I have my partner who works with us, Rogers, is here. I think he would want to end this for us. Rogers, please ride on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sam and Prof, for taking us through this presentation. And of course, like you both did share, fintech has a very huge opportunity just in Africa and also globally. And as as the team has passed, what we're trying to do right now is just to try to disrupt the market as much as we can. And then also we are looking at the future prospects that this can provide, and just looking at how best we can serve our different prospective customers coming on board. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful, great evening. And Stephen, sorry, we can't just take the question, no verse, please, but you can post it in the board, and I'll make sure that it gets to our faculty so that he can respond to you. Sorry about that, we can't take it. So thank you very much. Stay blessed and good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right, bye.
Bye, Prof.
Okay, good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good night, Prof.
All right, good night, Mr. Honor. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, Prof.
Yeah, good night. Good night. Night, Jay. Bye-bye.